There are several different ways to join the classroom. I can go to my home page and click on Join Lesson that I have now with Roxolana. I can go to my messages with Roxolana, and here on the bottom right hand side we can join the lesson. I can also enter directly here through the classroom button. When I enter the classroom, I will have a moment to check that everything is okay in the classroom. I can turn on or off my camera and check if I have different cameras, which one I would like to select. I can check my video settings, I can test it here, and the same with the microphone. So if you're going into a classroom before you have class to prepare your whiteboards, you could maybe turn your camera off or put yourself on mute. If you do encounter any technical problems, you have the ability to report that here. So do let us know if you have any technical problems. So it says that my student is not here at the moment, but I am going to go into my classroom. And I am in the test classroom here. I can see here on the top left hand side, I am in the test classroom, and I can move between the different classrooms that I have with my different students. So I'm about to join my lesson with Roxolana today. So I'm going to go into my classroom with Roxolana. Now I can see that Roxolana is not here yet. This will notify me when she is here, but I'd like to go into the classroom and start preparing my whiteboards. We can have a look at the different video layouts. So you can see I can either have a spotlight, which is great because then you can move this around on your screen. Especially good for spotlighting your student and moving your student near to your camera to help you maintain eye contact with your student throughout the lesson. You can have it in a grid as well. And then we can also see all of the different tools and functions in the classroom. Let's have a look at the different tools within the Preply classroom before our student arrives. First of all, you can see here on the top left-hand side information about your network and your connection, and you can check that there. If you do have any problems when you're in the classroom with your student, you will be able to see from both sides how the connection is, and if there is any problem, you will be able to see from which side it is. You can also check your information about your upcoming lesson. You have your speaking tracker here, which will show how much of the lesson the tutor has spoken for and how much the student has spoken for. We also have the teaching assistant, which you can access in the classroom and through the chat with your student, where you can create conversation starters and exercises to use in class or for homework with your students. Please do check out our course to see how to get the most out of this tool. In our chat, you can see your conversations with your student. You can also access the teaching assistant. And if you search here, you can see the attachments that you have sent to your student in the chat. You can access your notes tool, which is a great way to stay organized for your lesson. You can leave a note of your homework, make a note of any error correction to come to in your lesson, either after an activity or towards the end of the class, and have a look at with your student. You can enter your lesson objective, leave links to materials, and leave a record of your lesson so that your student is able to go back and check on different dates for your lessons and see what you did within that lesson. One of the great features here is if you enter your next lesson objective, this will automatically be added as the objective of your next lesson. There's also a private tab where you can make any notes that are only visible to you as the tutor.
In the vocabulary feature, we are able to enter vocabulary that will then go to our students' vocabulary bank in their Learn page. So we enter vocabulary. We can check the pronunciation with our student. And this vocabulary will then appear in the student's Learn page for them to practice with. When you have entered vocabulary for your student, and then your student goes to the Learn page in their dashboard, they will be able to see the vocabulary and play games with them. So they go to the Learn page, they can go by the subject if they're taking different subjects. They go to their vocabulary and practice the words here with little games. They're also able to add more words here and see collections of words that might be added. They can also check out the library to see if there's any materials that they would like to do and suggest to you. They can see the notes section and the files.
We have our chat. We have our reactions, which is a great way to motivate your student by using these emojis and reactions within the lesson to reward them or to react to different activities. You can also take a tour of the lesson, report an issue, and access your settings here. Let's have a look at the whiteboard. If you would like to prepare your whiteboard before your lesson, you can do this with your student. So here we are in the whiteboard, and you can see that we are able to open different whiteboards. We can open up to 6 different screens on our whiteboard by pressing this Add Page button here. What can we do with the different tools in the whiteboard? So we have our selector here, and if I want to select and delete something, I can do that. I can also highlight different elements on the whiteboard with the laser pointer, which is great for if you're looking at a writing or a reading text together, or perhaps an image, trying to identify different areas of that. I can also choose which colour I would like to draw or write in, and we can change that in that way. I can also write text in different colours using this option here. We have different shapes that we can use. We'll have a look at an activity we can use these with later. And we have the eraser here, which is an alternative to select and delete. We can also clean the whiteboard in one go by using the clear. So you can see in the classroom that if I start to draw or to write on my screen, that it is democratic, and Roxolana is also able to draw or to write or to delete on the screen, which is great for when we are doing activities together. So let's have a look at different options we can use through these apps. I work a lot with Google Slides and Google Docs with my students, and you can upload those in this way. So if you click on Google Docs and enter the link to your Google Slide or your Google Doc, and that will bring it up on the screen here. And we can enlarge that. I can put this more in a presentation format. I can even do it as a slide show. And then we can move through these slides with our student. We can do photo-based activities through images that I have uploaded to my slides. And so we can use these slides to guide our lesson with our students. I have templates that I would use and edit for different students depending on their needs, depending on their level. So slides is a great way to have templates that you can edit for your different students and personalize them. And you might want to use these particularly in trial lesson. We can close that here. We can also see that we can upload YouTube links to the classroom. So if I take this YouTube link, and the great thing about uploading a YouTube video to the classroom is, I'm just going to turn the volume down, is that because the classroom is democratic, my student can start and stop the video where they would like. So Roxalana, would you like to start the video? Okay. And so this democratic whiteboard allows for a lot more student interactivity. We can also upload images directly into the whiteboard. I'm going to simply drag an image from my files. This is an image that I might use with a young learners student. This is taken from the Cambridge Flyers exam. Now imagine I wanted to do a game with this activity, and the game is to find the star within the image. I'm going to hide the star there under the chair, and I'm going to put some more shapes in the image here. I would like to duplicate this shape, so let me put several there. We've set up this activity with our young learner student, and the objective is to find the star, and we would ask them questions, and they are going to move the green circles to try to find the star. So Roxalana, is the star in the cupboard? Is the star under the chair? Well done. So you see that you can use the whiteboard for interactive tasks, and there is a fantastic course in the Academy called Interactive Tasks in the Preply Whiteboard, which will show you lots of different ways that you can use your whiteboard for engaging interactive activities. Let's have a look at using a PDF on the screen. So here's an example from an exam paper. And you upload it this way into the whiteboard. We'll wait for that to load. And then when it does load, we can increase the size of it. We can move that around as we would like. And as we looked at before, because this is interactive, for example, if we were doing this reading activity and I wanted to say to my student to find and circle particular words in the text, they are able to do that. So for example, Roxalana, could you find words that are connected to hobbies and circle those within the text? Let's do an example together. And the first one in the first line, can we see a hobby? Wonderful. And so our student can either circle that or they can underline it as well, just using the pencil. And if we want, we can say, okay, I'm going to give you 1 minute to have a look at this reading text and identify as many hobby words as you can. We can also upload audio files. And again, upload files, and you can go to your computer and search for a doc, or you can drag and drop a document there. So this might be songs with young learners. It might be examples of exam tasks with older learners. And again, the student from their side is able to start the recording and stop the recording when they like. If you would like to have a document that you can save with your student, you can click on the quill icon here, and this is like a document here. You can see all of the different functions there. And as you can see, I can type on this and write to my student, and Roxalana is also able to write back to me here. If you would like to share screen with our student, there are different ways to do this. So first of all, click on the share screen icon in your toolbar. And there are 3 different ways to share the screen: through the Chrome tab, through choosing a window, or sharing the entire screen. If you would like to share your audio, then you will need to share a Chrome tab. I would like to share this tab with my student to have a look at some business English activities, and I'm going to share that with my student. We have both moved over to this page that I am sharing, but I would also like to see my student's video, so I'm going to go back to Preply and float the video and take my student with me when I move over to this page so I can see her at the same time. Or I can do this here within the classroom where I can see the whiteboard and the share screen tab at the same time. We can also resize this. Be aware though that you are just resizing this for yourself. Your student can resize as they see. Though if I close the whiteboard on my side, that will also close it for your student. If you would like to stop sharing screen, there's 2 ways to do this. You can simply close the screen in this way by clicking on the X, or you can stop sharing here. When we come to the end of our lesson, there are different ways that we can leave the classroom. We could simply click on the tab here and close the tab and close the classroom, or we can leave the classroom in this way.